Welcome to the Deep Dive.
Hey everyone, and welcome to our Deep Dive today.
Hi, everyone.
We're going to be looking at all these amazing quotes and commentary about women's empowerment.
Yeah, it's a lot of different points of view. I mean, what does it mean to be a powerful woman, right?
Yeah, and one quote that I thought was so interesting is this one. It's number 13 by Steve Maraboli.
Okay.
He says, "The empowered woman is powerful beyond measure and beautiful beyond description."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, doesn't that just feel like, wow.
Powerful, right? It really is.
Yeah.
It's like it makes you want to stand up a little taller, you know?
Yeah, and be like, yeah, I am powerful beyond measure and beautiful beyond description.
And I think what's so interesting about it is that it makes you rethink, like, what do those even mean?
Right.
Like those ideas of power and beauty, what do they even mean?
Yeah, like it's not about being the CEO or wearing, the most expensive clothes.
Right. It's not about fitting into some, pre-made box.
Totally.
It's like bigger than that. It's like breaking out of that box completely.
So if it's not about traditional measures,
what does it actually mean to be powerful beyond measure?
that's the interesting part, right? I think it's a kind of power that comes from inside,
Yeah.
like a deep well of strength and resilience and believing in yourself,
Yeah.
It's about knowing your worth and trusting your gut and not letting other people tell you who you are or what you should be.
It's almost like having this inner strength.
Yeah.
It's just like a shield, like a force field. And
right.
all the negativity just bounces right off.
It does. That resilience is such a big part of it.
Yeah.
Because the road to empowerment, it's not always easy.
Yeah.
You're going to hit some bumps. You'll have setbacks and doubts and all of that.
Right.
This quote, it reminds us that true power is in how you deal with those things. How you get back up and actually end up stronger because of them.
So it's not about like avoiding problems,
Yeah.
but learning how to deal with them.
Exactly.
It's like that saying about a ship adjusting its sails
I love that analogy.
at rough seas, right?
Yeah, because it's about being in control.
Not being a passenger in your own life. You're at the wheel, you're making changes when you need to, and you trust that you can handle anything that comes your way.
And I think that's what Steve Maraboli is talking about, too, in quote number 10.
Oh, yeah.
He says, life doesn't get easier or more forgiving. We get stronger and more resilient.
Mm-hmm.
It's like facing those challenges is what builds that strength.
Absolutely. And the more you face them, the more you realize, like, hey, I can do this.
Right.
You build up this confidence. You just know you can handle whatever life throws at you.
It's like that confidence spills over into everything you do right.
Yeah.
Not just dealing with problems, but like going after your dreams and saying what you believe in.
Yeah.
And making a difference.
Exactly. When you believe in yourself that much, you're not afraid to go for what you want. You're not afraid to take chances to push boundaries to really make things better. And that's where that powerful beyond measure thing really comes to life.
It's almost like it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Right.
The more you believe in your own power, the more you get chances to use it.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. So we talked about the powerful beyond measure part. Now, what about the second part of the, quote, the beautiful beyond description part? What does that even mean?
Right. I mean, how can something be beautiful beyond description?
Right.
It almost feels like we're talking about a different kind of beauty.
Yeah, I think we are.
Like not the kind you see in magazines or movies.
Right. It's a beauty that goes deeper than what we usually see. It's about your spirit and your values and who you are deep down inside.
So it's more about being yourself than trying to fit some standard of beauty.
Exactly. It's about knowing that what makes you different is what makes you strong and powerful and beautiful. And that's something you can't really put into words or measure.
So it's not about being perfect. It's about being comfortable with who you are. Like the more comfortable you are with yourself, the more your real beauty shines through.
Yes. It's a beauty that comes from loving yourself and knowing you're worth it and living your truth. So beautiful beyond description is about owning who you are, good and bad, and letting your inner light shine.
That's it.
That's it.
I love that.
It's about that radiance that you get when you embrace your true self. That's a beauty that people are drawn to because it's real and it comes from the heart.
It's magnetic.
It's like it goes beyond any category,
Yeah.
It's not about fitting in. It's about breaking free and just expressing who you are completely.
So are we saying beauty is like in the eye of the beholder then?
Yeah, there's definitely some of that.
Okay.
But I also think there's something universal about this kind of beauty. You know, it's like a soul connection.
Right.
It's the beauty of a woman who's really living her life to the fullest present. and engaged with the world around her.
It's like this energy, this spark that you can't quite explain.
Right.
But you know it when you see it.
Exactly. And that's what makes it so captivating, I think. It's not like a still photo. It's always changing. It's dynamic, always showing up in different ways.
So it's more about the journey than reaching some perfect ideal.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Thanks.
It really is about the process. Discovering yourself and growing. That's what makes you beautiful.
And I think that's what's so great about this whole idea of the empowered woman. It's not about being perfect.
No.
It's about being your true self with all your flaws.
Right.
And then using that as your strength and your beauty.
Yeah, and I think that message is so important for women today.
Right.
Because there's so much pressure to be a certain way, to look a certain way, act a certain way.
It's exhausting.
It is. It's like trying to squeeze yourself into a box that someone else made.
And it's so limiting.
Yeah, and that's why this whole idea of empowerment is so crucial. It's about taking back your power, your voice, your right to define yourself,
But that takes a lot of courage, doesn't it?
It does. It really does. Because you're going against the flow.
Yeah.
You're challenging the way things are, and people might not like it. But that courage is also part of what makes you powerful beyond measure. It's being brave enough to stand up for yourself. Say what you believe in. Go after what you want, even when other people doubt you.
So if the empowered woman is powerful beyond measure and beautiful beyond description, what does that actually look like in real life?
That's the question, isn't it? And I think it's different for everyone, because empowerment, it's not one size fits all.
Yeah.
It's about figuring out what works for you, what makes you feel strong and beautiful and alive.
So you create your own definition.
Exactly. Maybe it's having a career you love, or being a great mom, or fighting for what's right. It could even just be taking care of yourself, setting boundaries in your relationships,
It's about listening to your inner voice.
Yeah, that gut feeling, even when it goes against what everyone else is telling you.
But it's a journey, right?
It is. It's a process. There will be bumps in the road and challenges.
Right.
But you keep learning, keep growing, keep going.
So it's not about reaching some perfect state of empowerment.
No.
It's about the journey itself with all the ups and downs.
Exactly. And remembering you're not alone in this. There are so many other women going through the same thing.
And that's where I think the idea of women supporting each other comes in.
Yes.
Like we can all be empowered together.
Absolutely. When women come together, we can make real change. We can break down barriers and create a world that's more just and fair for everyone.
So the empowered woman isn't just focused on herself.
No.
She wants to make a difference in the world.
That's a powerful way to put it, because true empowerment, it's about more than just you. It's about using your strength, your voice, your everything to make a positive impact on others.
And that can look like so many things.
Yeah.
Mentoring someone, donating to a cause, speaking up against injustice.
Exactly. And that's what makes this conversation so exciting. It reminds us that each of us has the power to make a difference. We just have to step into that power, embrace our beauty, and use our voices to create the world we want to live in.
So if we're talking about power and beauty that go beyond anything we can measure or describe, what does that mean for how we see ourselves and each other?
That's a really good question. I think it starts with questioning those old, limited ways we've been taught to think about power and beauty.
Okay.
We have to let go of those narrow definitions and open our minds to the possibility that they can show up in so many different ways.
And we need to look deeper
Yeah.
and see the strength, the resilience, the spark inside each person.
Exactly. See the beauty in the wrinkles and scars and everything that tells the story of a life that's been lived. It's appreciating the strength that comes from overcoming hard times, from speaking your truth, from just being you.
It's like we need to learn to see the beauty in the unexpected, in the real.
Yes. And I think social media can actually help with this. We can use it to show the real diversity of women's experiences, to challenge those unrealistic beauty standards and celebrate the power and beauty that's in all of us.
So using social media to give a voice to women who are breaking the mold,
Yes.
defying expectations, and showing the world that there's no one right way to be powerful or beautiful.
Exactly. And celebrating them, not just for what they achieve, but for their courage, their vulnerability, their willingness to just be themselves.
Because that's where the real beauty is.
And the real power, the kind that comes from knowing yourself, loving yourself, and trusting yourself to go through life with grace and strength.
So as we finish up this part of our deep dive, what really speaks to you about this idea of the empowered woman being powerful beyond measure and beautiful beyond description?
For me, it just makes me think about all the possibilities.
Yeah.
Like a reminder that we can do so much more than we think we can. And that our power and beauty, they're not limited by what other people say. They're always growing and changing and showing up in new ways.
I love that. It's like an invitation to be our best selves, to embrace who we are and create a world where every woman feels empowered to shine.
Yeah, that's a vision worth fighting for.
It really is. It's funny, we've been talking all this time about empowerment, but we haven't really defined it.
That's true.
So what does empowerment actually mean to you?
That's a really good question. I think for me, it's about being in charge of your own story. You know, like making choices that feel right for you and going after what you want in life. It's about knowing that you're worthy and not letting anyone tell you otherwise.
I like that. Owning your own story.
Yeah.
It's like you get to decide how it goes.
Exactly. It's like you're holding the pen and writing it yourself instead of letting someone else write it for you.
And that includes changing the parts you don't like anymore, right?
Oh, definitely.
Like letting go of those old beliefs that hold you back and maybe those expectations that people put on you and creating a new story. That's more you.
Absolutely. It's all about growing and changing. It's like you're taking off those clothes that don't fit anymore and putting on something that feels much better.
You know, it reminds me of what we were talking about earlier, about how those tough times, those challenges can actually help you grow.
Oh, yeah.
It's like they force you to look at yourself and step outside of your comfort zone.
You know, it's so true. It's often when things are hard that you discover how strong you really are.
Right.
You realize you can do so much more than you thought you could.
And that feeling of discovering that about yourself, it's really empowering.
It is. It's like you unlock this new level of confidence. Like you just know you can handle it.
So this empowered woman, she's someone who doesn't shy away from challenges.
No, she doesn't.
She learns from them and uses them to grow and change.
Exactly. She doesn't let them get her down. You know, she faces them head on because she knows she's got what it takes to deal with them.
And she doesn't let them define who she is.
No way. She uses them to become even stronger.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the empowered woman,
Yeah.
what's the main thing you want our listeners to take away?
You know, I hope they remember that empowerment isn't something you find out there. It's something you create inside yourself. It's a choice you make every day. To be in charge of your own life, to be true to yourself, and to use your voice and your actions to make the world a better place.
That's beautifully said. It's like we all have this power to create the life we want, the relationships we want, even the world we want.
We do. And it all starts with believing in ourselves, trusting our gut, and having the courage to be who we really are.
So to our listener out there, remember, you are powerful beyond measure and beautiful beyond description. Embrace that power. Let your light shine and never stop believing in yourself.
And remember, you're not alone. There's a whole community of strong women out there cheering you on every step of the way.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
We'll rise from the shadows and dance in the light, unlocking our power, igniting the night. In this deep dive we find strength in our voice, every woman a leader with dreams and a choice. Stand tall and proud, we're breaking the mold with hearts full of fire. Our stories get told. Together we soar on wings wide and free. The deep dive calls to you. Come join and you'll see. With passion we conquer each mountain we climb, an unstoppable force in rhythm and rhyme. In this podcast we shine like stars on the rise, uniting our spirits, breaking the ties. Stand tall and proud, we're breaking the mold with hearts full of fire. Our stories get told. Together we soar on wings wide and free. The deep dive calls to you. Come join and we'll see. We conquer each mountain we climb, an unstoppable force in rhythm and rhyme. In this podcast we shine like stars on the rise, uniting our spirits, breaking the ties. Stand tall and proud, we're breaking the mold with hearts full of fire. Our stories get